is Jarrod Horak. In this video, I will discuss the possibility of a wet track for the Preakness Stakes. It rained all day today on Tuesday. For Wednesday, there's a 40% chance of rain. Thursday, there's a 30% chance of rain. And then Friday, light rain, 70% chance. Right now for Saturday, Preakness Saturday, partly cloudy, high of 89. Now before we proceed, let's look at the 9-horse field for the Preakness with the morning line odds. And we have goal-oriented number 1, and he's 6-1 morning line. He's 2-for-2 lifetime. He should impact the pace. Number 2 is Journalism, your 8-5 morning line favorite and your Kentucky Derby runner-up. Roberto Rispoli aboard. Number 3, American Promise for trainer D. Wayne Lucas. 7-time winning Preakness trainer Lucas, and Nick Juarez is in the irons, and he is 15-1 morning line. Number 4, Heart of Honor, your UAE Derby runner-up with Safi Osborne in the irons, and this one is 12-1. Number 5, Pay Billy with Raul Mena, 20-1 morning line. He won the Federico Tessio Stakes in his last start. River Thames for trainer Todd Pletcher. Irad Ortiz Jr. is aboard, and he's 9-2 morning line, exiting a third-place finish in the Bluegrass Stakes. Number 7, Sandman, your Grade 1 Arkansas Derby winner. He was 7th in the Kentucky Derby. His new rider is John Velasquez, and he is 4-1 morning line, and he is a late runner. Number 8, Clever Again, is an early runner for trainer Steve Asmussen, and Asmussen has won the Preakness twice. Jose Ortiz is going to pilot this one at 5-1 morning line. Finally, number 9, Gosger, your Grade 3 Lexington Stakes winner for trainer Brendan Walsh. Luis Saez is aboard. He's 20-1 morning line. Now, I did a wet track video for the Kentucky Derby. That one was very popular, got over 24,000 views. And in that video, I used the Brisnet sire, dam sire, and wet track ratings, along with past form over a wet track. I'm going to follow that same format in this video. Now, some horses will love a wet track, others are going to hate it, and then the rest will just run their normal race regardless of the footing. But all wet tracks are different, so wet track success at Churchill Downs does not necessarily transfer to Pimlico. Sometimes it can, and sometimes it will not. Now, the track profile can definitely have a big say in the outcome over a wet track as well. Last year's Preakness, the track was muddy, it was speed favoring, and Seas the Gray was able to get out there and control the pace and wire the field that day. Now, for the Derby, I did say that Journalism figured to handle the wet footing due to his decent wet track pedigree, and since he did prove that he could handle a wet track at Churchill, that's no longer an unknown commodity for him. Now, other Kentucky Derby runners with decent wet track pedigrees were Sovereignty, Owen Almighty, and Tiztastic, and Sovereignty did end up winning the race, and Owen Almighty was one of the longer shots on the board. He was forwardly placed from the outside post, and he did overperform. I think that wet track did move him up, and he ended up finishing 5th in that 19-horse field in the Kentucky Derby. And now we're going to look at the Preakness horses with the most promising wet track pedigrees. But before we do, let's look at the top wet track speed ratings for the Preakness runners. And Goal Oriented has the fastest race over a wet track. He got a 104 brisk speed rating for an allowance win on the Kentucky Derby undercard around 2 turns. And Journalism, finishing 2nd in the Kentucky Derby, he got a 102 final time rating. Big drop off after that. American Promise, he has a 92 speed rating for his maiden special weight dirt route win in the mud at Oaklawn. And then Sandman, he got a 90, finishing 7th in the Kentucky Derby. Now we're going to look at the sires, the top 5 of Brisnet wet track sires. And for Goal Oriented and River Thames, they both have a 20% wet track sire. American Promise and Gosger at 19%, and then Journalism at 18%. Now we'll look at the top Brisnet dam sire wet track. Pay Billy and Sandman both have a 19% dam sire for the wet track. Journalism at 18%, and then American Promise and Gosger both at 17%. Now we'll look at the overall wet track ratings, and Journalism and Sandman show the way. They both have a 113. Gosger has a 112 wet track rating, and American Promise with a 111. So now, based on all that information, Journalism and Goal Oriented, as we said, they have the fastest wet track speed ratings, so they're already proven over a wet track. And Goal Oriented also has the top wet track sire at 20%, and that sire is not this time. And his trainer, Bob Efforts, won the Preakness 8 times, and he's probably going to end up trying to go wire to wire from the inside post. Now, Journalism, as we said, he's proven over the wet track with that 2nd place finish in the Kentucky Derby. He has the 5th best wet track sire, and that is Curlin at 18%. He has the 3rd best wet track dam sire, and that's Uncle Mo. And then he also has the top overall wet track rating at a 113. So along with that decent pedigree for a wet track for journalism, he also has that proven wet track form. Now, another runner with wet track potential based on the pedigree is Gosger, and he is 20 to 1 morning line, and he has the outside post. He has a 19% wet track sire, that's Nyquist, and a 17% wet track dam sire, and that is Tappet. And then he also has the third best overall wet track rating at a 112. So he's never been over a wet track, but based on that pedigree, he's definitely one that you might want to look at if the track is wet. And then as for Gosger, overall his pedigree does suggest that as he gets into these longer races, he could end up doing well. So you could do worse as a long shot with a horse like Gosger, because for sure he's got that decent wet track pedigree if the track is wet. And then even if it isn't wet, lightly raced, grade 3 winner, he's got a good pedigree to handle the mile in 3/16 distance as well. Now, Pay Billy, he's run in the slot before. He was third in his career debut at 6 furlongs, and his dam sire, 19% in the wet track category, and that dam sire is Harlington. But Pay Billy didn't earn a big speed rating. I think it was only in the 60s for his third place finish. Now, as for American Promise, he is 1 for 3 over a wet track, so he has the ability to handle it, but he was well beaten in the Kentucky Derby over a wet track. And as I said, sometimes wet tracks aren't the same. The Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs, American Promise didn't run well. But then when he broke his maiden at Oaklawn around 2 turns in the mud, he did earn a decent speed rating and he won that race. And then Sandman, he does have a decent wet track pedigree, but he is 0 for 1. He finished 7th in the Kentucky Derby over a wet track, but that was a 19-horse field. 7th of 19, not a bad effort. Only one horse can win the Derby. The 18 other horses end up losing the race. So Sandman finishing 7th, late runner, not an awful effort there. And for him, I think this is probably a better race for him, especially if he can get some pace help. It's a shorter field. Sandman should be running late. He is a grade 1 winner. And then the others have not raced over and off track. And I will be on the grounds at Pimlico later this week, and I'm going to hope to film some Preakness News videos live on site. So keep checking my channel for these daily Preakness updates. And if you're interested in my annual Triple Crown Series full cards, you'll find them at the runawayhorse.com on my shop page. I've had plenty of success so far with my full cards for the Kentucky Oaks Day. Very good day there. Multiple top choice winners, some pick 3s, pick 4s. And then for the Kentucky Derby Day card, a very good day there. Again, multiple top choice winners, doubles, pick 3s, pick 4, pick 5. I had that late pick 5. And then also for the Kentucky Derby, Sovereign Team, I suggested win wager on him with the exacta and a trifecta with almost $1,000 in profit. I did share those highlights in other Preakness videos. You can watch those highlights if you're interested in those other videos. And the Preakness, as I said many times before, it's my hometown race. I started watching the Preakness. The first year I ever watched the Preakness was 1980. And so full cards, I've been doing them since the late 1990s for Preakness Day and for all of the Triple Crowns. And good success with my recent Preakness Day full cards. I hit the race in 2015, 16, 18, 21, 22, and 23 with my top choices early voting and National Treasure winning in 2022 and 2023. Let's see if we can get some more success this year. And I will be covering Black Eyed Susan Day and Preakness Day full cards at Pimlico this year on May 16th and 17th. And then for Belmont Stakes Week, multiple full cards at Saratoga, including Belmont Stakes Saturday on June 7th. You can go to the runawayhorse.com on my shop page if you're interested in my Triple Crown Series products. And I will include a link to that shop page in the video description below. As I said, I've been offering these Triple Crown Series products since the 1990s. So a lot of years of trustworthiness and success. I'm off to a good start in 2025 with Oaks and Derby Day behind us. Good success both days. Now we have Black Eyed Susan Day and Preakness Day this week. I'm working on those full cards now, and I'll have them done in the coming days. And I also have my early Preakness analysis done. So if you purchase my analysis for Kentucky for Preakness Day, I have the early Preakness Day analysis done, and I'll send that to you as soon as you purchase, and then I'll get the rest of the full card. Probably later tomorrow night, I'll have that Preakness Day full card done. Don't forget to like, comment, and share these videos if you like them. Subscribe to my channel as well. It's free to subscribe. And until I see you next time, good luck at the races.